Good afternoon, kings and queens, and welcome to Believe in Yourself Tuesday. I'm your host, Lakina Folks, and I am so excited to talk with our guest today because ever since I started the show, Believe in Yourself, I wanted her on my show. She is someone that truly inspires me as an entrepreneur and an owner of a nonprofit organization. Her work as founder and president of City Connect has raised over $100 million nationally and locally for Detroit youth and neighborhoods. She is also known as a leader's leader and recognized as one of the Detroit's 100 most influential women. And to top it off, she is the reigning Miss Black Fit and Fine. She is the incomparable Dr. Geneva Williams, and I'll be back to chat with her right after this.
1, 2, 3, 4. Believe yourself. You can't speak for nobody else. Believe in your dream. There's nothing you cannot achieve. Believe.
Welcome to Believe in Yourself Tuesday, Dr. Geneva. I am so excited to have you on the show today. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. I am delighted to be here with Believe in Yourself, Lakina. It is such a joy and a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yes, you're so welcome. So, Dr. Geneva, before we start talking about Dr. Geneva, the business mogul, tell us a little bit about you and this reigning Miss Black Fit and Fine. Did you ever think you would be in a beauty pageant winner at this time in your life?
Well, that has been probably one of the most incredible experiences of my life because no, there was no way that I had seen myself doing that. And in fact, when first asked to apply, I said, oh no, I'm not doing that. But then later on, I found out that the pageant was really about celebrating women as we age, women over 50, and really holding up our lifestyle and encouraging women to always put themselves first in terms of their health care, in terms of their bodies, and in terms of, being all they could be. And so when I heard what the mission was and the platform was and how it aligned so much with the work that I've been doing for many years, I said, oh, okay, I'll try it. But Lakina, I'm going to tell you, I, stepped in and everyone there was much younger than me. They were certainly, much smaller than me because I am a fabulously fit and a full-figured woman. And so I really was in it to just really, support and talk about the values and the wonderfulness of women. And then when I won, it was a phenomenal surprise. So I spent the whole year going around the state after I won, talking about women's issues, encouraging women and young girls to be the best role models we could ever be and to always live our best life and to take care of our bodies and to age well so that we always look good and feel good and do good.
Yes, and a role model you are, fit and fine and fabulous. I mean, you're absolutely gorgeous and
Thank you.
You are definitely deserving of that award and being the
Thank
winner.
you.
So congratulations on that.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you so much.
Yeah, so Dr. Geneva, you've done so much work with nonprofit organizations. How did you start with your nonprofit, and why do you believe in nonprofits so much, and why is it so important to communities?
Well, I think all of my work in nonprofit probably began in a small town on the Jersey Shore where I was born and raised, because everyone in the community, all the adults, used to always be in my business, my sister's business, used to always know everything about us. They always asked tons of questions, gave tons of advice, and always, kind of put out there that, what their expectations were for me and my sister. In fact, we used to think they would all go to these secret meetings, and it was like a conspiracy, because they all seemed to talk in one voice when they said things like, "We expect you to be. We're hoping for your success. You can do anything you want to." And this incredible belief in us as children really shaped my thinking. And then I was raised by parents who were civil rights activists, and they fought for equality and housing and just in employment and education. And they were ordinary people. My mom was a school teacher, my dad a government worker, but they believed so much in making sure that everyone had access to opportunity. It was the American way as they saw it. So between my civil rights parents who instilled in me, the passion, the urging, the need to fight for equality and do everything that I could to make sure that, everyone got opportunity, and the expectation of all the caring adults who had a conspiracy of caring and expectations for us and belief in us as children. Those two forces really shaped what I learned about leadership, what I learned about life, what I learned about legacy, and how important it was to, get what you could and be the best that you could be, but always, always find ways to give back and to make a difference. And so because of that drove me, that really led me into my nonprofit work. And I was in that field running United Way, raising dollars for community issues for more than 40 years.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. You're quite just just very motivating. That is amazing. And do you have your own nonprofit or as well, or you just help all nonprofits organizations that you find, pulling to you and your mission?
Well, I do a couple of things now. So for many years, those 40 years, I worked in United Way and in philanthropy, working with foundations as an employee. And so that was my career as as an innovator, as a raiser of millions of dollars for community issues. And so that's what I did. And then I decided that I wanted to go into business. And so I became an entrepreneur, a late life entrepreneur. In my 60s, I decided to do that. And so my company now is a leadership and personal development company. And so I do a lot of work with women and coaching and consulting. And then I also, in my company, do work with nonprofits. And one of the nonprofits that I work with is called the Live 6 Alliance. So I'm right in there working with that community development organization that has a revitalization strategy for the northwest side of Detroit. So I'm still continuing that nonprofit work, but much of the work that I'm also doing is working with women and executives and entrepreneurs to help them in their businesses, to help women, particularly those over 50, look good, do good, and feel good at any age. So I have those things that I'm doing now. So I've kind of mixed both worlds, and I'm having a ball. I'm living my best life.
Wow, you're absolutely living your best life. And you said a little bit, you said that you transitioned from employee to your own business and being an entrepreneur. Yes. So, and then you did it not young, you did it kind of late. So how was that transition for you? You know, I know it took some believing in you, because that's like a big deal. Yeah. So tell us a little bit how that happened. What made you want to actually do that and then do it, in your 60s?
Well, yes, it was a transition, and I did it because I wanted to have a larger platform to help people live their best lives by being their best self. And I felt that I had learned and experienced so much and had been blessed through meeting just hundreds and hundreds of people and working with people to transform neighborhoods and communities, that I could transfer those skills, that knowledge, the connections into the entrepreneurial world. And so it was a big transition. And one of the things that I learned is that there are skills that we have that are transferable into other industries, other fields of work. And so, for example, the years that I spent in running organizations and looking at balance sheets and financial, looking at the numbers and hiring people, retaining talent, and coaching and mentoring, all of those skills and experiences I could transfer into the world of entrepreneurship. I didn't believe it at first, so it took me a while to get to that point and really to build up the confidence and be able to say, wait a minute, I think I've been on this path before. So, but it was a great transition. And even in that transition, I've learned a lot, and I've incorporated that into the things that I help people learn, particularly entrepreneurs, about running a business.
Wow, that's quite amazing. So, Dr. Geneva, right now, women, and particularly Black women, are the largest group of minority entrepreneurs right now. So, with the amount of work that you do with new business owners, and what 3 tips would you give Black women to become business women?
Well, I got a lot of tips, so I had to write down a couple because I know you only wanted a few. Okay. But I love this subject. I guess the 3 top things that I would say, one would be to have a plan and some goals and know your why. So knowing why you're in business is so important. For one reason, it can keep you motivated through the tough times. When you really think about, well, why did I do this? Why am I doing this? Who do I want to help? What do I want to do? What do I want it to look like in 5 years when I'm successful? Or however you do that. But connected with your why, to have a plan and some goals. And oftentimes we call this a business plan. Yeah, that's okay. Have a business plan. I believe in that. But you can put together a plan, any plan, your personal action plan with some goals and action steps and timelines to keep you focused and on track. So I think that's so important. Know your why and put that why into a plan and your goals. I think the second thing that I would say is to be a player in the digital world. Let's face it, these days, word of mouth alone is not going to get it. You really need that social presence, being, in the digital world, but not just social media. You need to know how to market your products and services in the digital world.
Yeah.
You need to know about e-commerce. You need to understand it, know it yourself, get somebody to help you, but you need to be a player in that digital world and use that to help your business. And I think the third and final thing I would say, and this is one of my favorites, and that is, you are your brand, so practice self-care. So often we as entrepreneurs and business folk, we so busy out there running that business that we forget to really take care of ourselves. We're looking at that bottom line, we're looking at our products, we're trying to give the best service possible to our customers and clients. And in all that hustle and bustle and stress, particularly in these times when we're faced with so many unusual challenges brought about by the pandemic, we forget that we have to take care of ourselves.
Yes,
because particularly if you're in a small business, if you're an entrepreneur, you are your brand. So you got to, again, look good, feel good, and do good all the time. It got to be about you. And so taking care of yourself, making sure that your self-care is in all areas, not just doing something physically, but your mind, your body, and your spirit. And so that you are, putting yourself first and finding ways for that me time, so that you pour into yourself so that you can pour out to others. So those would be my three quick tips.
That is so good. The self-care, is so important. Even if it's just a few minutes out the day, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, just having those non-negotiable things that you would do for yourself every day, that is very, very important. And I like what you said about, being in business, one of your top tips was knowing your why. I oftentimes say that your why is so important, because your why you're passionate about, and that fuels, your success. That fuels, your motivation behind the business, behind the brand, behind everything. So that why is so important. Knowing why you're doing what you're doing is so important. That self-care, that's absolutely key, because oftentimes, in business, we can get drained. We're going and we're not really taking time for ourselves, not eating, exercising, just taking a day to just rest.
Meditate.
And meditate, yes. And that's when creative things come to you in that quiet place. Your mind is quieted and you be like, oh, I got a new idea. And it's
right.
mine.
Right. And when you go to these business trainings or leadership trainings about business, rarely do the courses or the teachers or the instructors or anybody talk about this aspect of self-care, your personal development, who you are as a person and how you take care of it. So that's why I put that in. That's a very strong component of the portfolio of work and services that I bring. Because I think it's important that we give ourselves permission to pursue whatever it is we want to do. And in order to do that, we have to be our best selves.
Yes. And that starts with taking care of you, so not only, are we, beautiful on the outside, but also on the inside, taking care of that inside with that personal development and self-care.
That's right.
That's amazing.
That's right.
Wow.
You got it.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Geneva, for those 3 tips. That was good. So tell us about your book. You have a book. It's called Living Life Over 40, Secrets to Finding Love, Your Vibrant Style. And what's next for you?
Yes. And here it is. And it's Living Life Over 50.
Living Life Over 50. Okay.
Yes. But, what I've come to understand Lakina, is that at any age, we should be living a vibrant life
Yes.
and having those secrets to love, and should also always be in the process of figuring out what's next. So, in our 20s and 30s, what we thought was important or meant something is probably going to be a little different when we're in our 40s and 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And it changes as we age, as we get older. But each life is wonderful, and it should be vibrant. And something, all of us want to live a long life.
Yes.
But none of us want to get old.
Right.
When you talk about that, who says, well, I want to get old? But, that's how you live a long life.
Right.
But I think the key is that, and one of the things I discovered was that when I turned 50, and that's why I particularly wrote the book and talked about 50, because, when you get to 50, it's half a century you done lived, okay?
Yeah.
And you look back and you say, half a century, and that kind of throws you. And also at this half century mark, you're experiencing so many changes in your body. You're probably in different situations with your children. Many of them may have grown up, they've gone on. You might be taking care of elderly relatives. So many things are changing at that point. And when I turned 50 and was facing all of these challenges, these ups and downs, I was gaining weight. I didn't know whether I was coming or going. My parents were, aging. So many things were happening. But I had to stop, and I said to myself, well, I want to continue living on, even though I'm half a century. I want to continue living on in a long life, but I want to live it vibrantly.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to be healthy. I want to be able to do what I want to do, because I ain't done yet. And the thing about it, Lakina, is we are going to be living longer and longer. We will live longer than our parents and grandparents lived.
Yeah.
And our age expectancy, hey, we're going to be kicking it in our 70s, 80s, and 90s. So if we know we can live a long life, shouldn't we be doing the things now so that life that we live is vibrant, no matter what our age? And so that's when I'm on a mission, and that's to talk about. That's why I wrote this book, and just love talking about and, helping women with strategies, women in particular, but men are interested in this too now, but helping people with strategies for how to live a long, vibrant, healthy, happy life.
Wow, that's amazing. So I know this book is awesome. Living life over 50. Give us one of those strategies out of the book. What's one of those strategies?
Oh my gosh. Well, one thing that I talk a lot about is self-love.
Okay.
That it is so important to feel good about ourselves, to love ourselves. And there's several techniques that I give in the book to do. And one of them, for example, is to complete what I call a TSA, inventory, a list of your talents, skills, and accomplishments, and write it down in a journal. And it's amazing. And this is so good for particularly focus. They're thinking about, well, what do I do next? And really at any age, but particularly as you get into your 50s and you're kind of, you want to change careers, or you want to thinking about retirement or what have you. But what do I do next? And writing down all of your talents, your skills, and particularly the things that you've accomplished in life so far. And actually having those lists and referring to them often, it will build up your confidence. It'll give you some clues into perhaps what you should do next. It'll make you feel good. And as we age and get older, having that inner confidence, that ability to do anything we want to do, because in that second half of our life, we may be doing things that we just dreamed about at a younger age. Like for me, I always wanted to write a book. I always wanted to do that. I didn't write this book until my late 60s.
Wow.
And I had wanted to write a book all my life. Okay.
Wow.
And another book that I wrote. In fact, I started writing my books, and I've got about 8 or so now written. I didn't start till my late 60s. I always wanted to have a radio show. And a good friend of mine said, well, you don't need a radio show. You need to do a podcast. And I said, a what cast? What is that? In my late 60s, after my husband passed, I started doing a podcast. It really helped save my life because I was able to express my point of view, but more importantly, I talked to people from all over the country.
Wow.
And it helped me hear their stories and help build me back to reimagine my life. Wow. The point is, again, I did this in late life. And that's what I mean by, taking the time to live out our dreams, and we can do it at any age.
Yeah.
And so putting together,
you begin to dream again in your 50s
dream again.
and 60s. You
That's
begin
right.
to do those things that you wanted to do at a younger age. And, it's the half century, like you said, and now you're dreaming again and doing those things that
That's
you
right.
wanted to do. That's amazing. Wow.
Absolutely.
Quite the inspiration. Wow.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Geneva,
Thank you.
Tell
Yes.
us what you meant by revisiting the visions you had in your future. What did you mean by that in your book?
Well, that's a beautiful segue into probably what we were just talking about. And that is that I believe very strongly in creating the future that you want. And so as I was thinking about what I want to do next, it was a process of reimagining. Well, first imagining my future, and then looking at it and said, well, my life is probably going to be a little different. I was married for 40 years. Met my husband after 3 days. We said we were going to get married. A year later we were, and we were together for 40 years and would be together today if cancer hadn't taken him. And then my mom and dad got sick around the same time he did, and they all left me. They all passed at about the same time. So my life all of a sudden became dramatically different than I had ever experienced, because I had always had those 3 people in my life encouraging me, giving me advice, telling me what to do, okay, and always being there no matter what with their unconditional love. Well, that had all changed dramatically and almost within a flash of a moment. And what I realized was that I had to reimagine my life. I had to make that dash as they did, that horizontal stroke between the time you're born and the time you die. That's where life is. That's where the meaning of life is. That's what I loved about my husband and my mom and dad, because they lived life to the fullest. So it was about, how am I going to live my life to the fullest? So I began to reimagine what my life could and should look like. And a lot of that, through a lot of process of, looking at my past accomplishments with the things that I always wanted to do, those visions I had at a younger age or had always thought about or dreamed about, I brought them forward. during this process. And I said, well, listen, if I don't do some of this stuff now, when am I going to do it? So it was just part of that whole reimagining process. And so now I teach people how to do that, how to create the life they love, how to imagine what they could be, and how to, with very practical strategies and action steps, make all that become real.
So Dr. Geneva, wow, that's amazing. So you reimagine your future, and I'm sure, you know, what you're doing now is some of it is what you wanted to do when you were younger, like you said, the books, and now you're living this newfound life on just being recreated, reimagined, and you're teaching others how to do that. That's amazing. And I'm just so kind of blown away, you know, just your success and all those things. And, you know, you had some things that happened to you in the past, but you didn't let that stop your future. You didn't let that stop you and hold you back, and you recreated and reimagined your future, as you put it. And now you're living your best life.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Awesome. Well, Dr. Geneva, tell us what's next for Dr. Geneva. What else are you going to be doing?
Well,
any books, speaking engagements?
Yes, okay. Because, you know, God is always with me, and that is how all of this is possible. So I'm going to continue to walk in his path and continue to be out here doing it. I'm not done yet till he's finished with me.
Yeah.
But what's up next? I'm going to continue to write. In fact, I just published some journals. So many women have told me they love journals. So I just finished 3 journals on one journal is if you're a new entrepreneur, how to get, this is a fabulous journal to write your thoughts in, your business plans, etc. Another journal on loving yourself and keeping up with vision and goals. And then I just put together another journal for people who love to read books and want to keep a log of the books they've read or the books they want to read. So I'm going to continue to write. I'm going to continue to be on my YouTube channel, and I'm going to do more about that because I want to bring to people more training and development in terms of, personal growth. And I just finished a series of trainings for AARP Michigan, national trainings on how to create your personal action plan. And I'm really going to be focusing on a lot of women have asked me to help them with that. That is, create an action plan for them that they could use that would be customized and tailored. And so I put together 3 training sessions on that, and you can go to my YouTube channel for those. And those are anyone can use them. That's why I wanted to do something that anyone could use. Awesome. And then for those individuals who want to come and get that personal, here's how you create your own plan. So I'm going to spend a lot of time in that and enjoying my grandchildren. And continuing to laugh and love and to find and give joy.
Awesome. So tell our audience where they can get all of these things, your websites, how they can connect with you, your social media information, and then also, leave something with the audience on today about something encouraging on believing in themselves. Go ahead.
Yes, so my website, drgenevaspeaks.com, drgenevaspeaks.com. You can get anything, there. You can get access to, all my books, my coaching, my nonprofit consulting, anything you want to at drgenevaspeaks.com, my website. And then I'm on all social media platforms as Dr. Geneva Speaks. So you can get me that way. And then I have a fabulous Facebook group called Extraordinary Women Influencers. And we have a ball. It's really great. And so I would love for people to come and join. Again, go to my website, join me in my email community, always dropping gems, practical advice, strategies, etc. And so that's how you can get in touch with me. And then you can go on Amazon. I've got an author page on Amazon. You can get all my books there. But again, the best place to go is my website, which will take you to all the things that I'm doing. And that would be so wonderful. Thank you so much for mentioning that. And I guess what I'd like to leave you with is something that I mentioned that I was doing when you asked me, like, what's next. One of my favorite proverbs I like to talk about is the ancient Egyptians' belief that when you pass into the afterlife, you're asked 2 questions to determine where you're going to go. If you're going to continue on your journey life into the wonderful heaven and afterlife, or go somewhere else. And those 2 questions are, the first question is, did you find joy? And the second question is, did you give joy? And so this process of finding and giving joy in life is what I believe life is all about. And as you think about being joyful yourself, how you feel, and also what you give and share with others as you try to make a difference in your life and in others' life, remember that creating your very best self will help you find and give your joy. Because we all want to live our best life. Live that best life by being your best self. Because when you're the best that you can be, you can create joy, find joy, design your best life, and live all that you want to be.
Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Geneva. It has been a pleasure having you on the show today. I'm so just grateful that you came on the show today and you said so many things. Thank you so much. And I look forward to talking with you again. And also congratulations to all that you're doing and all your success. You are definitely a phenomenal woman. Thank you.
Well, I want to say that back to you, and believe in yourself, because you really are the epitome of everything I've been talking about. You really are. And I want to say how delighted I am and how proud I am of you and your leadership and service. So thank you, and it's a pleasure to be in your space.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you, kings and queens, for joining me on the show today, Believe in Yourself. As Dr. Geneva said, you can reimagine your future. And like she has gone through a lot of things, tough times in her life, and so have all of us. But don't let those distractions and those things that happen in your life stop you from moving forward in your future. You can dream again. You had some dreams and some desires that you wanted to do when you were a child, a teenager, maybe even in your early 20s or 30s, maybe even in your 40s. As Dr. Geneva, she's in her 60s and doing it and living her best life. So age does not matter. You can create your world. You can create your life. Change your thoughts. Do personal development. Have self-care. Take care of yourself. Love yourself. Believe in yourself. Belief is so important. Believe in you. Drown out all the noise and all the critics and all the things that's going on in your life. And dream again. And as she Dr. Geneva put it so pleasantly. Reimagine your future. I love that. Reimagine your future. So on today, reimagine your future. Think what it is you want to be and do it. And remember, everything you need is inside of you. All you have to do is believe in yourself.